On December 25, 1934, the Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent a circular to every diplomatic mission in Tehran. It wasn't a declaration of war or a trade treaty. It was a branding memo. It requested that as of March 21, 1935, the international community stop using the word Persia and start using Iran. With one postage stamp, Reza Shah Pahlavi attempted to retire a 2,500-year-old brand that the Greeks had spent centuries building, but you don't delete an empire with a font change. The question isn't why he changed the name, but what he was trying to hide by doing it. If you read the type of person who suspects that modernization is often just a polite word for an identity crisis, you're looking at the right map. And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories behind major historical decisions like this, consider subscribing now. This channel explores the moments in history that most textbooks only briefly mention. Most people think Persia became Iran in 1935, as if the country simply went through a legal name change, like a divorcee reclaiming a maiden name. In reality, this was a calculated attempt to sanitize a history that had become too exotic for Western bankers. By the end of this investigation, you'll see that the 1935 decree didn't just change a label. It created a permanent friction between the romanticized past the world misses and the geopolitical reality the world fears. The memo was sent. The maps were redrawn, but the ghosts of the Achaemenids didn't get the message. Let's deal with the geography before the ego. Persia comes from Pars, or Fars, a single province in the south. When the Greeks met the locals in the 6th century BC, they did what tourists always do. They named the whole house after the first room they walked into. To the Greeks, every Aryan was a Persian. To the people living there, they were Aryans from the Avestan Aryamehr, meaning land of the noble. Cyrus the Great, who founded the Sassanid Empire in 550 BC, didn't view himself as a mere regional manager. He was a PR pioneer. While the Assyrians before him preferred the pile of severed heads approach to governance, Cyrus realized that dead subjects pay zero taxes. He allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem and protected Babylonian temples. It wasn't necessarily because he was a human rights activist in a 20th century sense. It was because religious tolerance is significantly cheaper than a permanent military occupation. Historian Lloyd Llewellyn-Jones notes that this was the world's first superpower. They had a postal system that moved at 200 miles a day and a road network, the Royal Roads, 1,600 miles. They weren't a mystical civilization. They were an administrative machine. If this kind of deep historical breakdown is interesting to you, take a second to like the video. It helps the channel reach more people who enjoy exploring history beyond the surface. But efficiency invites envy. And in 334 BC, a 20-year-old from Macedonia decided he wanted to own the machine, not destroy it. Alexander the Great is often portrayed as the destroyer of Persia. In reality, he was their biggest fanboy. After burning Persepolis possibly by accident, definitely while drunk, he started wearing Persian clothes. He forced 10,000 of his soldiers to marry Persian women at the Susa weddings in 324 BC. His generals were disgusted. They wanted to loot a colony. Alexander wanted to join the club. When Alexander died at 32, his empire shattered. But the Persian idea remained the gold standard for legitimacy. Even when the Arabs arrived in the 7th century, bringing Islam and the Arabic script, they couldn't erase the local bureaucracy. The caliphs ended up hiring Persian viziers to run their empires because, frankly, the Persians were better at paperwork. By the 16th century, the Safavid dynasty made a move that still dictates your evening news. They adopted Shia Islam. This wasn't just a spiritual choice, it was a border wall. It ensured that Persia would never be absorbed by the Sunni Ottoman Empire to the west. They turned religion into a national fence. If you've followed the timeline this far, you've noticed a pattern. The name Persia was the mask the country wore for the Western mask of carpets, poetry, and wine. Inside the house, they always called it Iran. But in 1935, Reza Shah decided the mask was looking a bit dusty. We analyze history not to memorize dates, but to see the strings. If you prefer your history without the decorative adjectives found in school textbooks, you belong here. We're dissecting how names become weapons. Join the investigation. Reza Shah Pahlavi was a man who hated the Oriental label. In the 1930s, Persia sounded like something from a fabled decadent, weak, and colonized by British oil interests. He wanted his country to sound like a steel factory. There's a darker footnote to the 1935 decree. Some historians point out that the push for Iran, land of the Aryans, was partially influenced by diplomatic connections with Germany during the 1930s. The term Aryan was gaining ideological attention in Europe at the time, and some Iranian officials believed emphasizing this shared linguistic heritage could strengthen political and economic relationships. Hard cut to 1979. The rebrand worked too well. By 1979, the monarchy was gone, replaced by an Islamic republic that embraced the name Iran but rejected the secular nationalism that Reza Shah had promoted. If this story surprised you, consider sharing the video with someone who enjoys history or geopolitics. It's one of those historical moments that almost everyone misunderstands. Today, if you say Persia, people think of Rumi's poetry and Isfahan's blue tiles. If you say Iran, they think of uranium enrichment and sanctions. The 1935 decree effectively split the soul of the country. One name holds the culture, the other holds the headlines. Does a name change end a civilization? Oske a Roman, or a Byzantine or an Iranian. The 1935 decree didn't end ancient Persia, just made it a ghost. When you call someone Persian today, you are usually referring to their ethnicity, their language, or their grandmother's cooking. When you refer to Iran, you are talking about a seat at the United Nations. This tension affects how we perceive reality. We view Persia as a dead museum exhibit and Iran as a modern problem, but they are the same 1.6 million square kilometers of land. The bureaucracy of 1935 tried to trade heritage for prestige. They ended up with a name that the world now struggles to separate from its evening broadcast. The 1935 decree was supposed to signify a new beginning, a clean break from the past. Instead, it served as a reminder that you cannot rebrand your way out of history. Cyrus didn't need a circular to tell the world who he was. His roads and his laws did that for him. The next time you see a map, remember that the lines are drawn in ink, but the names are written in ego. Persia didn't disappear in 1935. It just went underground, waiting for the next memo to bring it back. The memo was sent. The name was changed, but as we've seen, the past has a way of outliving its own obituary. If you enjoyed this investigation and want more deep dives into hidden historical decisions like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And if you found the story valuable, share it with someone who loves history. Because the more people question the official narratives of the past, the better we understand the world today. See you in the next investigation. Iran would be the official name, and so it would appear in books, newspapers, and international treaties. Yet history did not stop there. In 1979, after a revolution led by Ayatollah Khomeini, the monarchy was overthrown and the Islamic Republic of Iran was established. Relations with the West collapsed. Shiism became even more central, and the global perception of the country changed dramatically. Today, Iran evokes for many images of geopolitical tensions, sanctions, conflict, and fundamentalism. Meanwhile, Persia, ironically, has regained a romantic aura associated with lost grandeur, refined culture, and an almost mythical past. Two names, one land, and a constant struggle to decide how it will be remembered. Because sometimes a simple name hides a silent war between what we were, what we are, and what the world wants to see in us. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video and are passionate about this kind of content, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos and can discover more fascinating stories. See you in the next video.